Hey everybody, it took me a few minutes to get started today. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm here, I'm going live from the kitchen. And you can see I have on my, I've got my bling today. I have got all my Disney, got my ears. Maybe I should raise this up just a little bit. What do I have? Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. I'm just going to raise you up just a little bit higher because of where we're doing this kind of crazy today. I am in the kitchen and I'm sharing some Disney social media moms insights. That's a good way to go. We'll go like that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because we've got my stuff. I got my supplies over here. Hey, Shannon, how are you? It's so good to see you. I knew that you had to come and stop by and see this. Isn't it spectacular? I'm feeling very sparkly, and I've got my mini shirt on too. I got these, actually these were my daughter's. We went to Disney in October of, 2006, 2007, somewhere around there, and she was Minnie Mouse for Halloween. And it was unbelievably adorable. It was actually 2008. Unbelievably adorable because she had almost the exact same outfit. It wasn't a Minnie Mouse outfit. It was like a princess with a spider skirt, and these were the ears that she wore. And when we went around Disney to trick or treat inside the park, Minnie was dressed almost identical to my daughter, which was so awesome. It was just like the perfect thing. And I had no idea. I just saw the princess-like costume with a spider web bottom for her and thought, oh, that would be really cute. So I have since accosted her and taken these ears, and this was my shirt that I wore because, of course, that's very sparkly. And, of course, if you know me, I'm not really a tie-dye kind of person, probably, or overtly blingy. So there's only one good thing that can bring that out in me, and that would have to be Disney. So today I want to say hi. Hey, Amy Hodges, how are you? Hey, everyone. Welcome. I want to welcome you guys to stopping by. Although I promoted the show as what I'm doing to get ready for Disney Social Media Moms, it's as much about getting ready for a trip to Disney World where you're working as it is about getting ready for a trip with your family to Disney. There are some, I know, I'm very blingy, aren't I, Amy? There are some great resources out there to help you in terms of just the general planning for your trip. And while it's 2.5 weeks away, there's plenty of you out there, I am sure, who haven't done everything that you need to get ready, including me. I mean, there are certain basic things that go into motion by now, right? We've got our reservations, we've got everything going on. I'm sorry, I have to stop. I'm in denial about my blinginess. What could you mean? Is there going to be a problem then when I talk about fashion later? I guess I am in denial about my blinginess. I just don't go out in public very often like this. What can I say? But Disney, yes, Disney, I'll do it. So while there are a lot of things that you can do to get ready, one of the places I want to send you, there are a couple people, actually Amy Hodges, who's here on this board today, has a passion for Disney that it just extends well beyond very many people that I know in real life. Both she, and I'm going to give you their Twitter handles, at Amy, well, you can find Amy at Amy MC Hodges, and our very own resourceful mom, Amy Baer, who isn't here right now, but she's resourcefulmommy.com. and the founder of the Twitty Party. Those two gals have written a ton about Disney just because they are addicted, because they love it, because they have so many great things that they already know from personal experience. Amy has been going to Disney yearly, 4 years, multiple times a year. She has a year-round pass. Amy Baer, of course, with Global Influence, is one of the 4 key partners in putting on the Social Media Moms Conference. So, but she has a passion that exudes or extends well beyond whether or not she'd be working with Disney. She did get to go on the cruise though, so I think that kind of puts her up into like a whole nother layer, right? So check out those two gals to see some pictures. Amy right here is mentioning that she's got a post about Grand Flirting. Does anybody else have anything that they're working on? Please feel free to share it here if you're working on a post that might be helpful to others. There's a gal on Twitter named Connie Foggles who wrote a very good basic post about just those kinds of things that you would normally do when you're thinking about going to Disney to help you with the preparation. But I want to talk to you about a couple key things that I'm afraid you would miss if you didn't pay attention to right now. First of all, if you haven't already, this is kind of nuts and bolts stuff on my website. We also have it on our Go Mom Facebook fan page. We have a video that I did last year that's all about making your travel docket, okay? A travel docket is everything that you might need to have while you're there. Directions, the agenda, your hotel reservation, emergency information about your kids, your packing list, your schedule, etc., etc. So first thing first, I want you to get focused, if you haven't already, on making your travel docket, which, like I said, last year in this same attire, but much thicker and with long sleeves because it's 80 today. That's what happens when you get an extra month, right? Making a travel docket needs to be your first thing. You need to be doing it right now. You need to be doing it because it will remind you what you maybe haven't taken care of, and it'll help make sure that that week before, that when we only have a few days, you'll be nuts if you haven't already planned ahead. I will do something about the Disney Social Media Moms Conference on my show again that Monday before we all go, because I air on the 2nd and the 4th Mondays of every month. But it wouldn't be fair to have this show for you then. So let me see a couple comments. First of all, like I said, I want you guys to be working on your travel dockets. And please, as people join the room, continue to join us. Make sure if you've written a post, please feel free to share it. Like I said, I pointed out in the beginning, Amy Hodges of AMillionBoxes.com has been going to Disney for 1,000,000 years. And she has just a lot of great insights about how to handle being there. And same thing with our very own resourceful mom. Linda Latina, you haven't gone to Disney before, but you're going to the Social Media Moms Conference this year for the first time. All the more important for you to spend some time making plans now so that when you get there, you'll be able to handle moving from one thing to another. While you're making your travel docket, I just quickly want to pipe in that if you haven't gone on your school's website to get this form right now, request for excused absence for educational reasons. Often it's not hard to get an excused absence for your elementary age children, but if you have older children, not a good thing. It's going to be hard for you to get that excused absence, and that's the situation I'm in. So you have to work hard to pitch your principal for a good reason for them to say, sure, it's okay for you to take your child out of school, not on spring break, maybe in advance of spring break for 4 days for a personal family trip. Fortunately, this is a social media trip, so you can definitely spin that's relevant to where they are in their education. Just making sure that's not an important call from school. And no, it's just a 1-800 number, even though I'm on all the do not call list, so sorry about that. So while you're making your travel docket, work on that excused absence form and get those in. Usually you need 2 weeks to get approval. You want to make sure if your child could study ahead to take a test or needs to be prepared to take tests when they come back, that while you're gone, you've made a schedule that provides time for them to keep up with their studies, because that can be a big, big trick. So keep that in mind. The second thing that I want you to do is, if you, Colorado Mom used the Walt Disney World Travel Guide to show the teachers, and they loved it. They saw how educational the trip could be. Yeah, it's great. It just is a huge challenge for middle schoolers and high schoolers to justify that away from their curriculum. So yeah, go with that guide. Shannon, you were denied an excused absence last year. So this year, the teens will be staying home and just taking preschoolers. See, it's so hard, isn't it? That's so hard, because you're thinking, how can I leave them? The one good thing I will say, though, is that by and large, the attendance at Disney Social Media Moms, the attendance of children that are there tend to be the younger ones. And so if you're restricted for the amount of time that you are able to be there, I won't be there but 1 day extra. So the activities and events that my kids are going to participate in are going to happen within the confines pretty much of the event itself. If you have older children, it can be very awkward to have them locked into events that are geared more perhaps towards younger children. So Beth, the Angel Forever, the only reason why the schools care is because of building numbers. I don't know. I have a high schooler, and when you get close to the end of quarter and they have formatives and tests, I think it's fair for them not to be flexible, quite honestly. That's part of being in public school. So I would rather my kids' academic needs be honored and make sure that we are working with them what they need to do. But elementary, that can definitely be an issue, yes. Okay, so you've already been working on docket, I hope, which is on my website. There's a video about that and on our Facebook fan page. And you've already been working on that excused absence. You're going to see, I mentioned earlier, Connie has a great post about just some of the basics. You're going to see all sorts of things that'll say, bring this, bring that, da-da-da-da. The thing that I found the most challenging last year was there's two things that I found were intriguing. Number one, it's hard to switch gears for me between being in a work mode and being in a family mode. And so the best way that I can think of to do that is to make sure that you clearly go through the schedule that they've sent out to us. Right here, you've got the link, and you can go to the home page and you can find that schedule about all, thank you, Daisy. You can find that schedule about all the events that are going to happen and start to map out how your partner is going to tackle the parks without you. You're there in a very select group of people with an opportunity to learn and network. And so you're expected to be in the sessions and to be at all official events that include or don't include your family. So that means that your partner may, or whoever's coming with you, may very well end up having to navigate the park without you. So you want to give them the best chance possible to navigate the park successfully. But part of doing that is deciding where they're going to be so that while you're in session, it won't be that you ask them to go back to maybe where they were already before. So you want to have it work out that you meet up with them where they would naturally be. So you want to really do some work to structure their days. Who knew we were starting off at the wedding pavilion? I'm thinking Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo Salon, which we've never done, and we have someone in our family the right age in advance of going to that pavilion. Oh my goodness, that's the perfect way to do that. I'm not sure when we'll go back to Disney, and I'm not sure that she'll be young enough to do it when we go back. So thinking ahead, also Hollywood Studios will happen, it looks like on the schedule, on Friday night. So do you want to spend time in the park, encourage your family to spend that time in the park at Hollywood Studios, or is there somewhere else they'd like to go, and then you can all enjoy that together? So you really want to think about that. Let me see what some of the conversation is. We're talking about being grateful about husbands coming along. Your husband's staying at the resort while you're in sessions. That's a good plan. You know, Colorado Mom, if you find that you don't have big kid backup like Shannon does, there might be some discussion about what maybe should happen on conference day. Is it the best day for your spouse to go out into the park? It might not be. If it's not the best day, if they don't feel like they can handle it, don't go there. Do not look at the train wreck. Schedule around that so that when you both need to be there to help everybody have a good time, you can both be there. So this is great conversation here about what everybody's sharing about what's worked for them and what hasn't. Dr. Mommy, I think you shared that it was a huge help to have your husband too. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's a full court press. Disney's never really relaxing. It's always so exciting for grown-ups and for kids. So I find that since I'm there for business, the last thing I want to do is come back into the hotel room and find that my husband's completely fried, and then I don't feel like I've helped him, and I'm not sure he's supporting me, and then the next thing you know, you got a little personal drama. We like to avoid the drama. So let me see. I think I saw a great comment. You can hire daddy's helpers from Kids Night Out. Yes, you also could, if your husbands know each other, like Colorado Mom is talking about Shannon Powell, they're looking to connect. You can also, perhaps if your spouses get to know each other, they could maybe make an effort to spend some time together. And you can get some babysitters if you need to. You can actually get park attendants for different things, so you might want to check that out. A great place to go, if you haven't already, is definitely, I encourage you, just for general conversation, visit the Disney World Forum, okay? Disney, hi Michelle, how are you? Disney World Forum. .disney.go.com, and that's where you'll find the Disney Moms panel. Any question under the sun, you're going to find a good answer for it there. Under planning and budgeting, they do have a section by child that you can check out what kinds of questions have been asked and what kinds of questions have been answered. So that's a really important resource to think about every time you jump out and check that out. Daisy, Dr. Mommy says if older teens are attending, perhaps parents can hire them to watch your kids. There you go. That's very resourceful. Maybe we can make a suggestion for that in the future they maybe even have a teen resource section, or the parents of the teens can hire them to help with their younger children, which definitely keeps the peace with the teens, right? Okay, so I want to talk some basic conference logistics for you, okay? Because there are buckets and buckets and buckets of posts and information out there that'll help you navigate your trip to Disney World. One solution to make it easy is to follow Michelle's lead and leave them all at home. Now, there you have it. And let me tell you what, after having gone last year, I can't say that the thought didn't cross my mind, but we made a decision to go ahead and go together. However, that being said, Michelle is going to have an entirely different experience than Emily because she is going to have a complete focus on what she's doing for work. Mom RN, you would never get away with that. No, I know in some families that would be like the door would be locked when you got home, right? It just isn't going to work. So, a couple of things. First of all, plan your wardrobe this week right now. Yes, I said plan your wardrobe. Don't tell me that, oh, I'm just going to throw it together and I don't really care what I wear. That's baloney. There will be all sorts of professional pictures taken all weekend long, whether you're aware of it or not. And the last thing you need to do is find yourself caught on camera forever in some sort of Disney promotion where you're thinking, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I really shouldn't have chosen capris. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. White, not white, not panty lines, not bra strap showing. None of that, people. This is a press event. Plain and simple. You might want to think that it's something other than that. This is as much a PR opportunity for them to leverage us as it is for us to leverage them. So that means you need to look your best. And if you are tight on a budget, like pretty much every woman I know, go to your source for fashion to help you maybe freshen up what you have in your closet. It's really not that hard. I happen to love Talbots. Talbots is my go-to place. I beg them constantly to pay attention to me, which they don't, but that's okay because I love them anyway. And I shop them on outlet all the time, deep, deep sale. But what I'm doing to help me freshen up my look, like Mama RN said, you don't want to have to go change clothes between the conference and the park. I'm using this spring catalog from Talbots to help me identify what outfits might be the right transition. And I think shoes are the biggest key about transitioning between the parks. I think the shoes are more important than any other issue that you're going to run into when it comes to fashion because you are talking about the park. Having comfortable shoes, not redoing your whole wardrobe. Well, Mom of all trades, you do have maternity. Yes, that's an issue. But you're making sure that you have shoes that can transition for you for what you're comfortable in is going to make a really big difference. And then also looking at what the latest trends are in terms of the look that you want and just rolling that in. You might find that you only need to pick up a couple pieces here and there. I do think, Kelly, it is going to be about 80 degrees. I did an internship at Disney World over this time frame, and yes, that temperature range is right. So also when it comes to fashion, although Mama RN said she doesn't want to have to change between them, you might have to think about that just a little bit depending on what we're doing. You may find that you have an opportunity to go back to on Friday, you're going to have an opportunity to go back to your room and refresh, and we will have had a long day, so that will matter. But Saturday looks like it's going to be a really active day, so you might want to make sure that what you haul out in on Saturday morning is perfect to go ahead and stay in the park the whole day. So just keep that in mind, and just remember that there will be cameras and there will be videos anywhere and everywhere you go, whether or not you think about it. Layers are great. Mom of all trades, don't forget a cardigan for session days on Friday. Yes, that cardigan will work both in the park in case you get a little chilly when you go in, like Epcot Center, so much of it is air conditioned. It will work great if you're inside the sessions. And what's wonderful is this time of year you can get those little 3/4 sleeve cardigans at Target for 20 bucks. You also could just throw in a wrap in your bag. So let me talk let's move on to that real quickly. I want to talk about your bag. There's a couple different bags that you might want to think about taking. You can either take, because you're going to want a bag on Friday when we're in sessions. You may take a backpack to the park. You may go a little bit more rugged. Thursday night, you're not going to need as much because it's a special event. You might even be able to go way fashion. But there's a difference between having a bag that's got a closure and a bag that doesn't. Don't take something like this to the park and put anything valuable in it. Well, you might want something like this that your kids can just get in and out of really easy. It's super durable. This is Holly Aiken. That's great, but don't put a wallet in it. For my 2 cents, this has become almost like a signature bag. And what I love about it, that I can use it at a conference, is not only does it have a great handle, it's also got a strap. So if I needed my hands free when I'm doing something on Friday, I could use it. So the question is, well, Amy, you say you go bagless to the parks, which is heavenly, yes. But we can't be bagless in the park when we're talking about the sessions, or if we know that we're starting off in an event and we're moving into, we need something transitional. That's where something like this might be great on Saturday morning, because if you take a backpack later or you meet up with your husband, he can have your wallet and the things that might be valuable, and you could just have your gear if you needed it. So what goes in my bag? A couple things that I want you not, please don't forget. Do not forget to do this. Girlfriend's Law right here. It's either for you or it's for somebody else. I'm just saying, you have to have one. Cough drops. Poor Laura Spencer. Last year I spent half the conference coughing on her because I had bronchitis. You have no idea how horrible it is to find yourself in a session where you know there's audio and there's video and you come down with a tickle in your throat. So please make sure to throw some cough drops in. You definitely want to have something like a little wisp toothbrush kind of thing going on there, and also you might even want to throw in something that's a bit of a dental floss item. I know that sounds really funny, but you might, I'm sure what they service will be wonderful, but all you need is one piece of parsley stuck in the wrong place and you're done. Hi, Chewy. How are you, Chewy? Colorado Mom's telling me that Chewy's looking at me. Hi, Chewy. Yes, and Kelly, they do not sell gum at the parks, and so instead of having gum, you might want to have some mints handy just so that you have fresh breath. But along with that, also have some Tums handy. I'm just saying, it's the kind of stuff that if you find yourself stuck, you don't want to be miserable. Tissues, and definitely have a little Band-Aid handy. Have an emery board handy. Okay, nails that are scratchy and ripped are nasty if you're shaking someone's hand. Do not forget those Band-Aids, that's right. I don't leave home without it. Burt's Bees hand sanitizer anywhere and everywhere, okay? I wear eyeglasses, so I need a little eyeglass wipe so that you're not looking at big, huge finger marks all over my cute little glasses. And then a little lip balm, just in case your lips get chapped if it's windy or whatnot. And all of that I just pulled out of this little magic bag isn't even this big, right? And this is your conference emergency bag for you as a girlfriend stuff here. Like, please don't tell me that you let me walk around with stuff in my nose. This is going to make sure that none of those things happen. And I frankly think that that matters. Other thing I want you to think about, you see I have this awesome cute bag here. Did you notice this? This my friend Amy Hodges just shared with me this weekend, and we're going to put all sorts of great things in there to take down on our big road trip. You want to have a small can of hairspray to have in that bag if you need it, or whatever you might need, if anything at all. Maybe you won't. And then I've got 2 really cool things that are really for your family. Don't mind my phone, it's my Grand Central Station. The first, Claritin. Yes, mama of all trades, you want to have those allergy eye drops with you, and you might need those in the middle of the day. That could also go in your small bag. You want to have the Claritin with you. TheraPure is an awesome hand sanitizer. Pollen is all over the place. Life Contentment, tips on how to get to the conference next year. We can have a session on that the next time, I promise. And really, all of these tips that I'm sharing with you right now are tips that apply to any time you go to a conference, and it happens to you, we're talking about Disney Social Media Moms. This is Swash. Amy saw me use this weekend. You can use this instead of an iron no matter where you are for your kids or your kids' clothes. Check out Swash. Tide had it at BlogHer last year. It's just, you can only buy it online. But it's really cool, and it helps smooth out the wrinkles for anything. And I know that might sound really high maintenance, but again, you're traveling with your family, you're at a conference with your family. Getting your family off for the day, if you're not going to be with them, or a quick flip might not mean that you have enough time to iron whatever you have. So Swash can be your best friend. Another really cool product you might want to look into that I just discovered this weekend is called the Yucky Stuff Bag. The Yucky Stuff Bag is by Scandinavian Child, or no, Lilla Baby, which is one of their brands. Stuff Bag by Lilla Baby. It basically, think of a barf bag, a dirty diaper bag. Anything that might be wet and messy could go in here. Okay, so it just comes right out. It's got this whole, it's antimicrobial, is that the way to say that? Anything that would be wet and messy could go in this, so you definitely want to think about throwing that along. So we've covered carrying your go-to bag of your own personal emergency kit. We've talked a little bit about, we haven't talked about business cards. Make sure you bring your business cards in a nice folder. Okay, don't just bring them. Bring them in a way that's nice to get them out. Okay, no matter where you get it, no matter what you have. And then you might also want to bring a second one to put other people's business cards in, so that as you're collecting them, you have something to do with them other than shove them in your pockets. So consider having 2 different business card holders for that reason. And then the only thing I can say about media is make sure that you have straps, because big challenge I find, because I do all video content, is getting things in and out all the time easily and making sure that I don't drop them. And occasionally I may have to have them on my wrist so that I can do something. That's going to take you back to that bag. This particular bag has great pockets already designed in it, which makes it very easy for me to take my media in and out in an undistracting fashion. I think that's a really key part about that. I know that there's a lot of conversation sometimes that covers bring your laptop, bring your netbook, bring your smartphone. All of that is definitely true. I've got some new tips coming up on our website here, which is www.gomominc.com. It's my series actually from Type A Mom that we finally are loading up, that gives you a couple of cool gadgets and tools that people are using that make it easy for them to travel. If, like Michelle, you're away from your family, you might want to Skype your family every day. If you're taking a smartphone everywhere, you don't want to have to depend on a charger to the wall. So you're going to want to make sure to have one of those charger cases that can go around your phone. You also might want to make sure that you have a hotspot tool. All these videos, Amy Hodges did that one with me. All these videos will be on our site. Those are technology shortcuts that'll help you better manage your technology. The one thing I'll say, if you bring your laptop on Friday to take notes, that's a really good thing. You just need to make sure that you have the right bag to manage it. It's all about storage, you guys. In order to get in and out of being in conference mode to family mode, whether or not you're going to be carrying some things along with you, your bag is going to matter big time. Your little personal emergency kit and freshen up kit is going to matter big time, because you just may find you don't have as much time to get between 2 places. So let me take a look real fast. Do you carry all handy cams? Do you just use your phones? I don't use my phone. I use Kodak ZI-8. I know some people use their phone, but that's something I haven't gotten taken care of. Good grief, so I do not have to carry back. What are we saying here? Good grief, so I do not have to have the back to carry all this stuff. Well, no, what you want to do is you want to minimize so that you're not carrying too much. You know, that's really the goal. Think about it this way. Minimize what you take and think about why you're taking it. Why you're taking it and where you are going, okay? When I go to the conference, that's professional. So I want to make sure that I have everything all set. We're talking about things like extra batteries. We're talking about things like chargers. We're talking about things like enough business cards. That's all just kind of basic 101 to make sure you can do your job of being a social media mom effectively. The question is, how will you transition between one space and another so that you can have what you need in both places, and we will have just a little bit of crossover. You definitely want to take it in and make sure that you're enjoying yourself and that you're not stressing yourself out, no question about that. And that's why I want to encourage you, don't take more than you need, but don't leave yourself empty-handed not having enough. It's good to have choices. I always pack a few extra outfits in case I change my mind. You know, I want to feel like $100 no matter where I walk into. If it's going out with my family, I want to make sure my feet are comfortable if we're in the park all day. If I'm going into a session, I want to make sure that I'm warm enough and I'm not shivering and distracted by being cold. It's just little things like that. So if you had, Gina, you have the full itinerary so you know what you're doing and how to be prepared. Well, that's what I'm trying to help you out with here, is that you can identify that on Thursday afternoon, we're basically going to be in a reception environment. On Friday, you're going to be in a conference, and then you're going to have a break, and then you're going to be in a special event in the evening. Thursday is a little bit more up in the air, but based on last year, I'm going to bank on Thursday being a mix of us being engaged in some sort of PR event. Last year it was helping plant things and get ready with the food bank and that kind of thing, and our family being able to participate. So Thursday feels to me more like a in the park kind of mentality, a little bit more casual. And we end up, because we have so much free time, I meant to say Saturday feels like we're casual because it's morning activities and free time, and then all afternoon is free time, and then we have a private dinner. So it gives you a chance to kind of navigate back and forth. So sorry, yes, Amy, I didn't mean to say Thursday. Nikki, your son broke your nose at Disney. You had to go to the emergency room near Disney because there wasn't a doctor at the nurse's office. Ooh, that's unfortunate. So does anybody have any questions I haven't answered? Number one, please work on your travel docket right now today, just starting to map out your directions, your hotel arrangements, your schedule. Get that agenda with as much detail as they've given us so far, and start to make a strategy with your partner about how you might map out your days. Number two, of equal importance, stop by the school office or go online to your school website and get that excused absence form. Number three, think about the bag that you're going to take for the location that you're in. What do you need to bring with you to sessions is going to be different than what you need to bring with you to the park when you're alone with your family, or if you're in between that chameleon role where you're both working and they've got a special event where we're also, part of the media that they've got going on. Think about your fashion right now. You may have, if you're in a place where you don't have warm weather coming in, you probably haven't even thought about getting those spring clothes down. So definitely get out your kids' clothes, see what you might need to add in if anybody's really shot up like a weed, and do the same for yourself. What might you need to freshen up, or what can you use that you already have? And yes, Amy Hedges definitely does have the magical bus. DVC Mom, you put your agenda on TripIt today and you love having it on your phone. That is huge. Let me tell you, there's some great advice out there. Again, Resourceful Mom is a good place to go, and Amy at amillionboxes.com is a good place to go. There is great content out there about apps that you can use for BlackBerry and different things that you can do with your trip planning online that might help you better navigate where you're going to go and how you're going to do that. So think about your smartphone not just as an avenue to help you communicate about the event while you're there, but also as the tool that will help you navigate it with your family. That smartphone may be the best way for you to take video if you also don't want to have your flip cam, depending on how comfortable you are. And let's see, Amy, what did you say? We've got DisneyDrivenLife.com. Thankfully, you'd never be able to pack for the whole family on a plane. Mom of all trades. I know that's so hard, isn't it? So you guys have been awesome. I feel bad because I'm running over. Mousesavers.com has great packing lists for trips and then for days in the park. Exactly. That's my point. You can see we have a lot of information out there about how to do this, how to go on this trip, how to navigate through the park, and a lot of great resources. The thing you have to think about is this is as much a business trip for you to profile your social media world as it is a trip for your family. And the question for you today that I'll leave you with is, are you going to bring your A game? Because game on means that when you engage with Walt Disney World Corporation, yes, it's all about your family and the experience, but it's also going to be about your strengths and your talents and your gifts as a social media mom. And you want to make sure that you just do everything you can to put your best foot forward. So don't forget to think about yourself while you're busy getting your family ready. That's what I got. I'm going to have a series here coming along to talk a little bit more about Disney and why I love it, what my connection is. I hope you found today helpful. And we've gone over, but I love it. So thank you all for coming. You are welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that I can see you guys soon. You can find me on www.gomominc.com, where I have all sorts of videos, and you can find me also on our Facebook page, which is Go Mom. It's our Go Mom Facebook fan page. Okay, Mama RN, when you can get your excused absence form, Mama RN, you can get from your school. You've got to go to your school form. It's not a form that I have, Amy, because every school has its own form. So your form for, that's okay, your form for school excused absences is going to be directly from your school itself, because your county is going to have a policy. So you can usually go online to any school website. The individual school should have a link to forms, and that form should be there. And if not, you can just pop in the office and get it. Kelly, you should be able to watch this again here, right here. You can watch the replay on Mom TV. You're welcome, Mama, and I cannot wait to see you again. You're one of my faves. And Kelly, thank you for stopping by. Shannon, you are the best. If you already signed off, I missed you. I'm so glad you were able to come, and I hope that this has inspired everybody to get super excited. Amy, you are the ultimate wing woman, and you are my Disney goddess. Love you, friend. Can't wait to talk to you soon. And that's that. See you in a few weeks, peeps. Take care.